The perfect mom, the perfect woman you're comparing yourself to doesn't exist. There is something I've been thinking about lately. It's a memory that goes all the way back to my childhood. And I realized now how much it shaped the way I saw the world. I had a best friend. We were inseparable. We lived in the same block, and her grandmother lived in the house right across from us. I remember standing there, just a kid, hearing her grandmother say to her, "Why can't you be more like her?" Meaning me. "You should behave like her. Why don't you do things the way she does?" And back then, I didn't think much of it. I was just a child. But looking back now, with the awareness I have today, I see how heavy that was. Those words, repeated over and over, quietly teach a very dangerous lesson. They teach you that who you are, your core, your essence, is somehow a mistake. That you need to become someone else to be accepted. That you're not enough. It teaches you that to be loved or accepted, you have to perform. You have to put on a mask. And that's how it begins. Not loudly, not dramatically, but slowly. You start replacing who you are with who you think you should be. And when you learn early that being yourself is not enough, you don't just change your behavior. You start building your identity around performance. And that's how we grow into adults who don't just live their lives, but perform them. And what once came from one voice now comes from everywhere. Just look at the world today. This is exactly what I see today, just amplified. It's not just one grandmother in the house across the street anymore. Now it's thousands of grandmothers in our pockets. Every time we scroll, we see the images. The perfect homes with white rugs and no toys. The effortless morning routines. The mothers who never seem to lose their cool. The women who look perfect and are spotless in every moment. And if we aren't careful, our minds treat those filtered snapshots as a baseline. Not as a curated moment, not as a staged performance, but as a standard, as the truth. And suddenly, without even noticing it, you're comparing your messy, lived in reality to someone else's highlight reel. And the problem isn't Instagram or any other social media platform. The problem is the story your mind creates the second you look at it. You see that perfect mom, and your mind instantly whispers, "I'm behind. I'm doing this wrong. I should be doing more." And think about the sheer amount of energy it takes just to maintain that comparison. We talk a lot these days about the mental load, the endless list of who needs new shoes, what's for dinner, and which school forms are due. But we rarely talk about the comparison load. And we're doing the invisible labor of constantly checking our lives against an invisible yardstick. And it's like running a marathon in your head while you're trying to just fold the laundry. And it's like walking through your day, folding the laundry or driving to work while an open tap is running in the back of your brain. It's the silent background program that is constantly measuring every move you make against an invisible yardstick. Am I doing this well enough? Should a house look better? Why am I so exhausted when she looks so energized? This is a full-time job that pays you absolutely nothing. And it's the real reason so many of us feel drained before the day has even really started. It isn't the physical tasks that are wearing you down. It's the invisible tax you're paying every time you check your life against a ghost. So no wonder you're exhausted. It's not the task that tires us out, it's the constant self-evaluation. And it's not even always obvious. Sometimes it's just a quick scroll and suddenly your mood shifts. Nothing in your life changed, but your feeling did. And that's how subtle this is. I realized that it's not our lives that are heavy. It's the expectation we're carrying on top of them. We're running a mental marathon while we're just trying to eat breakfast. No wonder we're tired. We aren't just living. We're auditioning ourselves in real time. And comparison isn't just a bad mood. It's a full-time job that pays you zero. And even people who seem to have it all are starting to see through it. Have you noticed how many famous people are walking away from the sparkle? They're buying ranches, moving to the middle of nowhere, getting away from the magazine covers. Why? Because they realize that chasing a fairy tale identity is exhausting. They're finding peace in being aligned with themselves, not the version of them that looks humanly impossible in an outfit they can't even breathe in. They are choosing presence over performance. And people are tired of the perfect aesthetic. We're seeing a move toward radical transparency. It's why those celebrities are moving to ranches. It's a collective rebellion against the digital mask. We're all realizing that the fairy tale was a cubicle we built for ourselves. We are finally giving ourselves permission to be unfinished work of art. And let's look at a real moment we all know. Let's bring you into a real moment. It's 7 p.m. The house is a wreck. You're exhausted. And your child is asking for the same thing for the 10th time. Dinner is, well, it's definitely not blog worthy. And then you remember that image you saw earlier, that calm, smiling woman in her clean kitchen. Everything looks effortless. The hardest part is not the mess or the noise. It's the thought, the voice in your head telling you that you should be doing it better. In that moment, you don't just feel tired. You feel like a failure, like you're not doing it right. But, and I want you to really listen to this, you are comparing your human, emotional, raw moment to a constructed illusion. When you are in that comparison, you aren't actually there, present with your child, your loved ones. You're in your head, measuring yourself, judging yourself. And that feeling of I'm not enough is not coming from your life. It is coming from the thought you're having about your life in that moment. And that thought feels like a fact. It creates a physical weight in your chest. It creates guilt. It creates pressure. It creates that quiet feeling of failing, even when nothing is actually wrong. But it's not coming from your life. It's coming from a thought you are believing in that moment. And when you see that, something starts to shift. Because suddenly the problem is not, my life is not good enough. The problem is, I got caught in a thought that made me feel that way. And this doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects how you show up. When you're in comparison, you're no longer present. You're not with your child. You're not in your life. You're in your head, evaluating, measuring, correcting. And children feel that. Not because they need perfection, but because they feel presence or lack of it. And children, they don't need a perfect mother. They don't care about the white rocks or the organic snacks. Your child is not standing there thinking, I wish my mom was more like that woman online. They're thinking, is she here with me right now? They need a present mother. They need a human who sometimes gets it wrong, but who stays in the room. One who sometimes gets tired, sometimes gets it wrong, sometimes reacts, and then comes back. Because that is what teaches them life, not perfection, but repair, not performance, but connection. I've been a parent for a long time now, 17 years to be exact. And I can tell you, I'm a completely different mother today than I was 10 years ago. That's not a failure, it's growth. I used to think my job was to be the pillar of strength. Now I know my job is to be the bridge of connection. And you can't build a bridge if you're pretending to be a statue. And one of the most healing things you can ever do for your child isn't being perfect. It's the repair. It's the moment you stop and say, I didn't handle that well. I'm sorry. I was frustrated. I'm still learning to. In that moment, you aren't becoming a lesser parent. You're becoming a real one. You're showing them that it's okay to be human. You're teaching them how to come back to themselves. Real life doesn't happen in perfect photos. It happens in the emotional cracks. It happens in the kitchen mess, the evening exhaustion, and the laughter that comes out of nowhere when you finally let go of the shoots. So be aware and catch yourself. Where are you comparing your real life to something that was never real to begin with? What would change if you stopped measuring yourself against a ghost? You don't need to become a better version of yourself to be enough. You already are. And when you step out of the pressure, you don't parent from guilt anymore. You become a partner, a friend, a mother from presence. And that changes everything. Because those are moments you will take with you and are like little diamonds that make life so wonderful and full. And what are those diamonds? They are in the moments when the kids are silent and the house is clean. They are the moments when you're all laughing because the pasta got overcooked. Or the quiet 10 seconds of eye contact with your partner over the chaos. Or the way your daughter looks when she finally masters that gymnastics move after failing 10 times. Those aren't Instagrammable. They are too big and too real for a screen. Those are the moments that actually make alive. I know we have, my kids and me, the most genuine moments just sitting behind the table, maybe at lunch or dinner time, and laughing at something silly. Maybe a spoon that one of us accidentally dropped, or somebody being clumsy and spill some soup. Those moments when we are all relaxed and just being in the moment. And it's funny, isn't it? In a performance life, the one thing we should be living. A spilled bowl of soup is a crisis. It's a mess to clean up, a flaw in the evening. Another thing just gone wrong. But in a present life, it's a spark. It's the moment everyone finally exhales because the pressure to be polite or perfect just hits the floor with a spoon. Those are the moments where your kids aren't looking at you as a manager or a taskmaster. They're looking at you as a human. And when they see you laugh at the mess instead of tidying it up, you are teaching them the most important lesson they will ever learn. That it is safe to be imperfect in this house. We think we're building their childhoods out of the big vacations and the clean rooms. But we're actually building them out of the way we handle the spilled soup. And I think that's why, as we move through 2026, we are tired of the clean girl look. We are tired of the white, beige, minimal living rooms that look like no one actually lives there. People are craving the cracks. They are looking for the emotional fingerprints that prove a life is actually being enjoyed, not just curated. Because a life with no mess is a life where no one is playing. A life with no mistakes is a life where no one is growing. So if you're listening to this in your car, or while you're folding that mountain of laundry, or maybe while you're hiding in the bathroom for 5 minutes of peace, I want you to look for your spilled soup moment today. Don't look for the diamond in the achievement. Look for it in the chaos. Look for it in the moment where you decide that being tired and real is infinitely more powerful than being energetic and fake. Because when you stop performing, you give everyone else in your house permission to stop too. You close the comparison tab, and your brain and you finally walk back into the room. Until the next time, pause, come back to what's real, and remember, you're not here to be perfect, you are here to be present. Welcome home.